Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Operation Unite is traveling through the region, bringing 6th graders together to discuss substance abuse prevention. And a community in Perry County is coming together to help 2 young boys in the fight of their lives.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Caroline Mueller. It is 5:31 on this Wednesday, September 17th. Let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmel for a look at your forecast this morning. Now, Megan, I feel like it felt a little bit cooler yesterday. It might have been because the sun was kind of hiding, at least here in Hazard, so my walk was definitely a little bit more pleasant yesterday than it was on Monday.
Yes, and that's because we're starting to see a little bit of those cooler temperatures. We're talking upper 80s Monday, low 80s yesterday, and today we're kind of going to be about the same, maybe a little warmer for some folks. But this morning's definitely not too bad of a start to your day. Mixture of upper 50s and low 60s. Now, here's what we're talking about in terms of this evening, a mixture of the low to mid 80s once again, but you'll notice that we're still hanging on to some upper 80s for our more western counties. 87 is that high temperature in Irvin and Somerset. Now, in terms of what we're expecting cloud-wise, rain-wise, well, we're expecting no rain, and we're looking at a mixture of partly cloudy skies now that will transition into some mostly sunny skies. We're heading into the afternoon. Here's a look at that day planner for you. Again, partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies throughout the day with the clouds dissipating as we are heading into the overnight hours. Caroline.
Sounds good, Megan. Thank you. An Eastern Kentucky woman was indicted by a federal grand jury on drug charges. An indictment says Jody Nichols knowingly and intentionally possessed with intent to distribute 50 grams or more of a substance containing meth. A warrant was issued for her arrest and she was taken to the Powell County Detention Center. The incident happened back in May when Nichols was pulled over on the Mountain Parkway in Magoffin County. 2 hikers are safe after being rescued in Powell County. Around 2:30 p.m. yesterday, rescue crews from Powell, Lee, and Wolfe counties responded to a 911 call for a female hiker in need of help near Courthouse Rock. Initially, the call said a woman was stuck on a ledge. When they got there, rescuers discovered she and a man were lost off trail and unable to climb back up from 10 feet below. Crews were able to rescue both hikers using a rope system. A wedding venue in Boyle County was destroyed Monday after their barn caught fire. The Boyle County Fire Department says just after 11 a.m. Monday, the Bluegrass wedding barn caught fire. It took crews 4 hours to put out the fire. The building was a loss. For one woman, it means losing a building full of memories. Heidi Robbins Hall says not only was it the place she got married, but where her husband worked for many years.
Oh my gosh, it was just immediately like, there's no way this is real. That was like such an important place to us, where like the most important day of our lives was, and knowing that we are never able to see it again is just really, really devastating.
The venue's owner says they are working on finding alternate venues for the couples that booked with them. A Somerset man is facing charges after police say he was involved in a robbery at a business in Laurel County. James Garfield Smith III was arrested after he turned himself in. They say he was involved in a robbery that occurred at the smoke shop. Smith was charged with first-degree robbery and second-degree assault. A Lawrence County man is behind bars after police say he was trafficking drugs in Johnson County. It happened last Saturday night when police observed a vehicle traveling on Kentucky 1428 that had an expired registration. After pulling over Douglas Paul Baker, police say they noticed his eyes were bloodshot. Later, police found substances believed to be heroin and fentanyl in Baker's vehicle. He was taken to the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. A Southern Kentucky sheriff says they have recently been able to fill a gap within their department and in the community when it comes to fire investigations. Laurel County Sheriff John Root says the county now has their own arson investigator. Some investigators had to travel into Laurel County from outside the area before the appointment. WMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to the sheriff about the added help.
Deadly fires, suspicious flame-ups, or just when a fire chief notices that something is off.
Whatever it may be, you need an arson investigator.
Sheriff John Root says in the past, each state police post had their own arson investigator, but he says things have changed.
And we had found out that there's not one in the county as far as being able that we could call out to investigate fires.
Root says their investigator has decades of experience in both law enforcement and firefighting.
He's done a fabulous job. He comes with a lot of experience. He's been a volunteer fire department here in the county for 25 plus years.
Arson investigators are often called to fires that are suspicious in nature for possibly criminal investigations. But Sheriff Root also tells me this will be an asset for some insurance claims. He says that's a big plus to local residents and fire departments.
Because if you just need an arson investigator before we brought ours on, you would have probably had to went outside the county.
And he says outside Laurel County, he's not sure where the closest one would come from. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
We checked with Kentucky State Police, and while the position of arson investigator has changed, troopers tell us they still have personnel that can investigate fires. We also have calls into the Frankfort State Police headquarters to get more information. The family of a man found dead in a Paintsville hotel last year has filed a lawsuit. In November 2024, Barry Gordon Stambaugh's body was found after a fire in his room. The lawsuit against the owner and licensors of the Days Inn Hotel claims their negligence contributed to his death. It says there were no working smoke alarms in Stambaugh's room. We reached out to the hotel owner but have not heard back. Tow truck drivers across the nation are standing behind a bill to add rear-facing blue lights to tow trucks. The bill did not go anywhere during last year's General Assembly session, but yesterday it had a committee hearing. The current proposed bill says the blue light would only be turned on when the tow truck is still, not when it's moving. Representative David Hale said the committee received a letter in opposition before the meeting started.
Kentucky has the opportunity right now to be leaders and say, hey, we care about our Kentucky towing industry and we care about the men and women working.
There's a deeper reason behind these efforts. It's been almost 1 year since tow truck driver Troy Caldwell was struck and killed while working on the side of I-64 in Bath County. But since the hearing, Johnson said he's received text messages from representatives who want to meet and talk more about Troy's law. Operation Unite is traveling through the region, bringing sixth graders together to discuss substance abuse prevention. The organization is celebrating its third year of traveling youth rallies, planting the program in Pikeville yesterday, bringing guest speaker and licensed radiographer Rob Holla to share a presentation about vaping and making wise choices. Organizers say the event welcomes the youngest students to show them there is a support system to educate and prevent substance abuse.
The idea behind the youth rallies is that we are introducing them to one of the greatest things that Unite does with our Camp Unite, that they're eligible for that, give them a little bit of that experience. But hopefully they all walk away from here today knowing that they are part of a team.
The program is headed to Morgan County today and is expected to be here in Hazard on Thursday. After that, there are 4 more stops throughout the region. An initiative to help small businesses here in Eastern Kentucky is back. WYMT's Neely Green spoke to an official about the relaunch of Invest 606.
The Invest 606 initiative is dedicated to supporting small business development in Appalachian Kentucky by addressing the significant barriers to accessing capital.
Invest 606 has expanded and we now have 3 kind of defined tracks. So we have Launch 606, Accelerate 606, and Fund 606.
Director of Impact Investing, Jessica Bledsoe, says it initially launched in 2019 and had 5 yearly cohorts. And in 2025, they decided to take a year to evaluate and expand to make an even larger impact.
20% of new businesses fail in their first year, and that number jumps to 50% by year 5. So our goal is to really help set the foundation so that they don't become one of those statistics. So we'll have some different programming options and bring in some subject matter experts to help with that.
The relaunch includes the 3 main branches that will offer support to businesses in different stages of their business plans.
We want to help these businesses prepare to take on funding for their business, identify what kind of funding they need, and then how to prepare the documents and things so that they're proactive in the financing needs for their business.
Bledsoe says supporting small businesses in Appalachia will create more opportunities.
We know that if a business can start here and it has a really solid foundation, that it's probably going to be around for a really long time, and it's going to create jobs and it's going to create opportunity, but most importantly, it's going to generate wealth that's actually going to stay right here in our communities.
The goal of Invest 606 is to succeed today and grow tomorrow. In Perry County, Neely Green, WYMT Mountain News.
Bledsoe says the best way to keep up with Invest 606 is to follow their Facebook page and sign up for their newsletter. A community in Perry County is coming together to help 2 young boys in the fight of their lives. A benefit fishing tournament is set for Saturday, September 20th at Eagles Landing Campground on Buckhorn Lake. The event will support 12-year-old Josh and 9-year-old Carson, who are both undergoing treatment for leukemia and lymphoma. The tournament includes a $1,000 prize pool, a Yeti cooler giveaway, and more.
We've had an enormous outreach from local stores, local individuals. We're also going to do a silent auction after the tournament to help raise money for the families. Local businesses and people just donated several good items, so come out and spend some money.
Registration starts at 7 a.m. on Saturday. To donate or learn more, call 606-568-3869. Coming up, actor Noah Weil is back in Pittsburgh shooting the 2nd season of the hit drama The Pit, following his big night at the Emmy Awards.
And temperatures are heating up today.